And I think it's about examination. If you look at things from a very logical and fresh perspective without the sort of conditioning that we are subject to in this society. If you look at competition, I find competition to be a very meager approach to things. Because when you look at things from the standpoint of competition, essentially the question that you are asking is, how is it that I can better another? And that would be fine if bettering another allowed you to reach to an ultimate possibility. But I don't think it does. Bettering another, that question essentially just allows you to strive to get 1 inch better than somebody else. And once that 1 inch is accomplished, the game's over. And that I find to be very boring and uninspiring. I mean, I don't really care who wins, to be honest with you. If you win by 30, then I'm interested. If you win every single time, then I'm interested. If you're the best that history's ever seen, then I'm interested. But if you look on the PGA Tour, every single week a new guy wins, I find that boring. Because what that tells me is that the PGA Tour players have not differentiated themselves from one another. They've become one another, which is typical in the setting of professional athletes and also in the setting of business. Whatever environment or whatever petri dish that you are in, you will drift towards the mean. You will conglomerate towards an accepted reality. Differentiation is very rare. Human beings become their environment. So I don't think that it's a coincidence that when Tiger was at his peak, he did everything alone. It wasn't a coincidence that he would come out to play practice rounds, at the break of dawn when no one was around, and he would leave, and nobody would ever see him. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he changed his shoes in the parking lot, or he wouldn't stick around to socialize, and he would go to the far off part of the range. Those are not coincidences. The people who truly become great generally tend to be loners. They generally tend to walk a very solitary path. So the obsession with being better, I think, is very low level. I think better and best is not as inspiring as being the only. And the reason that Tiger was, to use an example of Tiger, the reason that Tiger is hailed even to this day, given, despite the fact that he's dropped, so many points in the rankings, it must be 700 or something, I'm not sure, but in that area, it isn't because he was better. It was because he was the only.